Hello, you guys. Welcome to the apartment renovation for my Keepsake Legacy Challenge family. The single mom and future heir, of course, is how you start this legacy challenge, and essentially we are renovating their apartment today. I'm not fully sure if the intent is that you renovate the apartment they live in, but if it makes you feel better, I only used the starter money and the money they got from clearing out all of the items in this apartment. So what was used to decorate this place is solely what they got from starting a new save and selling what they had in the apartment. And then they just made it, or I just made it their own. And honestly, I'm fully obsessed with this apartment. I really love how it came out. I was shocked how much I was able to do with the money that you get from, starting out in The Sims. This apartment is very girl coded. It is very pink, girly. The main sim of this generation, her name is London, and truly this apartment suits her so well. If you missed the creative sim, go ahead and go check it out, and you'll probably be able to tell just from her outfits. But in the first part, you'll get to know her and her daughter a bit more, and you will just see how much they fit in perfectly with this apartment. And I am honestly so obsessed with it. I started out by kind of getting a bunch of clutter pieces I knew I would want to use and incorporate, but I think what I love about this apartment is how homey and alive it feels. I used so many pieces and it's squishy, it's tight, but honestly it feels so home. Feels so like home, and it feels so alive, and I absolutely love it. I did restrict myself. I didn't change the floors at all because I feel like that's pretty unrealistic. I did change the paint because I think painting in an apartment, that's pretty normal. I've painted in, rentals before, but changing the floor, not so much. So the tile and the carpet and the wood, it all stayed the same, and that is just what they got. And I didn't want to change layout either. I did have to move the wall in the little girl's bedroom and Meredith's bedroom over by one because the bed was not functional unless I moved the wall. So other than that, though, I wasn't just going willy-nilly. I only did it because I had to, and that second bedroom is tiny. And all I wanted to do was fit a bunk bed in there, but it was so small, so I did just shift it over by one. But other than that, this house is just as in the layout of the normal apartment. And I'm absolutely in love, and I'm obsessed with it. I think it suits them, and it feels like their home. It feels like their space. We took the chic street apartment and made it theirs, and I think this is going to be a place they enjoy for many years to come. And even when Meredith ages to a teen, if they're still here, I think the room is super simple. Like, it's super easy to upgrade into a more grown teenager feeling bedroom. But moral of the story, what you will find is this place is just very pink. It feels like it has pieces that were handmade or pieces that are truly theirs. It feels very hand-picked and not just a shoebox that they moved into. And that is what I love about it. Now, I wrote a little note about the mother-daughter dynamic that Meredith and London have. In the Creative Sim, I kind of talked about the whole story. And in the first episode, I'll briefly go over everything again, but this specifically, I wanted to just talk about Meredith and London and kind of their dynamic from London, the mother, from her perspective. Here we go. If anyone asked her, London, what her greatest accomplishment was, she wouldn't mention surviving homelessness as a teenager. She wouldn't mention raising a child on her own or building a life from nothing. She would simply point to her daughter. The two of them live in a small apartment tucked in a way too loud corner of the city. It isn't much to look at from the outside. The building is old, the walls have cracks hidden behind picture frames. The kitchen is small enough that occasionally you bump into each other while cooking. The bathroom sink drips as if the handles aren't turned exactly the right way. But to them, it's their home. The apartment is filled with evidence of a life lovingly lived. There's mirrors and crafts against the wall waiting to be hung. Half-finished art projects sit on shelves. Grocery lists and handwritten reminders fill the fridge. Books are stacked on nightstands and coffee tables. Blankets are draped over couches. Evidence of movie nights that always last way longer than planned. The kitchen is the heart of everything. It's where they do homework, grade papers, and talk about their days. Where they laugh until they can't breathe over failed baking experiments. Where hard conversations happen after difficult days at school. Where dreams are shared over pancakes every Sunday morning. Her daughter is in middle school now, standing at that strange age between childhood and adolescence. Some days, she curls up beside her mother on the couch during movies. Other days, she insists she's practically a grown adult and rolls her eyes at everything. She's bright, she's creative, and endlessly curious. She inherited her mother's can-do spirit and often can be found scribbling away in her notebooks, sketching in her journals during car rides, or filling pages with elaborate plans of her life, her future, her dreams, and her goals. Her room is covered in artwork, pictures, and little treasures collected over the years. She's also fiercely protective of her mother. Growing up, she learned earlier than most children that life is not always easy. Despite her mother trying, she notices when money is tight. She notices when her mom is stressed. Sometimes she'll quietly wash the dishes without being asked or leave encouraging notes on the counter before school. Not because she feels responsible, but because she loves her mom. The relationship often feels less like parent and child and more like two people who have grown up together. They share inside jokes no one else understands. They have favorite movies they've watched dozens of times. They sing loudly in the car with the windows down. They celebrate small victories with the same enthusiasm other people would only reserve for major milestones. A good report card earns a dessert. A difficult week calls for impromptu movie nights. A random Tuesday might become pancake night simply because one of them had a rough day and Sunday just isn't enough to enjoy flapjacks. Neither of them takes ordinary moments for granted. There are still difficult days, days when bills pile up, days when the future feels uncertain, days when her mom worries she isn't doing enough or giving her daughter enough. But every time those fears begin to creep in, her daughter reminds her something very important. They have each other, and they always have had each other. They're each other's best friend. There's still a quiet longing that exists in both of their hearts. Her daughter has never known what it feels like to have a father at home. She has questions she rarely asks out loud. Questions about what could have been. Questions about the man who loved her mother long before she was born. Her mother carries her own version of that longing, not because she feels incomplete, not because she believes she needs someone to save her, but because she sometimes imagines a fuller table, another chair occupied at dinner, another person to join the cuddle puddle on the couch during movies, a partner to share responsibilities with, someone who loves her daughter as deeply as she does, someone to build traditions alongside of, someone to carry the weight of life's challenges. Yet despite those dreams, neither of them spend much time dwelling what they lack. Their lives are rooted in gratitude for what they have because at one point they had nothing. A home filled with laughter, a kitchen full of memories. Their close-knit relationship was the outcome of obstacles faced throughout the years. The truth is that Meredith and London are each other's safe place, and Meredith has never doubted that she is loved, and London has never doubted that every sacrifice she made was worth it. Together, they have built something stronger than either of them could have ever realized. A family defined not by perfection, wealth, circumstance, or completeness, but by unwavering love. And every night when the apartment grows quiet and all those city lights shine through the curtains, both of them fall asleep knowing the same thing. No matter what tomorrow brings, who it brings, they will face it together. Oh, I love them! I know that was long and dramatic and emotional, but truly I think it really captures who Meredith and London are. They have a very Gilmore Girls relationship, but at the same time, less drama, more closeness. They truly are each other's best friends. I imagine London had Meredith when she was about 16. So they are so close in age, and they love each other deeply. And I love their story. It was so fun to come up with these characters because I value closeness with my mother so much. And so to be able to scratch the surface of implementing that into this Let's Play and this Legacy Challenge is amazing. Nevertheless, we are finally nearing the end of this little speed build of the apartment renovation, and I'm sure you have been able to see over time just how pink, just how girly, and just how London and Meredith this apartment really is. I am beyond excited to do this Legacy Challenge, and so excited to see where their life goes, and so excited for the drama and the realness and the rawness of this challenge. For more information about the Keepsake Legacy, I left it all in the description down below. And I'm finishing off this speed build just by adding a bunch of holes and grunge in the wall, and that's how you know we are complete. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope you are excited for this Let's Play as much as I am, and for the first episode where things really begin and unravel.